As the Age of Aquarius gathers momentum, the world is transforming at an unprecedented rate. Old ways and habitual patterns of behavior are becoming a thing of the past, opening up new opportunities for those who are ready to act. The astrological events of June 2025 will be not just another stage, but the beginning of a global reset, requiring maximum involvement from everyone. Taurus, which has been silent for a long time, will finally make itself known. Routine, lack of financial stability and lack of respect will no longer be accepted. It's time to break out of the vicious cycle, get rid of the negative environment and raise the standard of living. On June 6, when Venus enters Taurus, the mechanism of hidden transformation will be activated. It will not be an emotional outburst or violent protest, but rather a cold-blooded and methodical elimination of everything that prevents you from moving forward. Taurus, known for its patience, no longer intends to put up with injustice and discomfort. All the accumulated rot in relationships, financial affairs, and everyday life will begin to cause acute disgust. At one point there will be an internal fracture, and Taurus without too much noise will cross out all the negative from his life. Rudeness, unsolicited advice, and underestimation will remain in the past. Without shouting and explaining, the doors will be closed to those who did not appreciate and respect. This is not just an emotion, but an underlying judgment from the archetype of the slow but fair judge. Venus, the celestial patroness of love, harmony and material wealth, enters her domain in the sign of Taurus, emphasizing the realm of relationships, personal values and financial stability. This is a time of summing up, when Taurus closely evaluates its inner circle, determining who is a reliable support, and who only uses its resources. During this period there is a separation of true partners from those who pull down, bringing instead of peace only chaos and instability. For representatives of the sign of Taurus, this is not just an astrological influence, but the return of inner strength, which for a long time remained in the shadows. This is the ability not to waste energy on empty cries and complaints, and resolutely cleanse their lives of everything that prevents you from moving forward. If Taurus feels inner protest and realizes that, enough is enough, it means that the transformation process has already started, and there is no way to stop it. The Age of Aquarius dictates its own rules, requiring everyone to be true to themselves. Venus in Taurus activates the part of the personality that does not need excuses and explanations, but simply knows how to do the right thing. Taurus is willing to endure hardship for the sake of loved ones, but when his kindness begins to be abused, the limit comes. The decision is taken irrevocably, without pity and regrets. And let the offended then pour tears and throw tantrums, Taurus remains unshaken, because he knows his rightness, and therefore gains true freedom. With the onset of June 9, when Jupiter moves into Cancer, Taurus shows uncharacteristic for him determination, abandoning passions that carry a destructive beginning. He is like a surgeon removing the rot, and begins to build a new life based on inner peace and confidence. Jupiter in Cancer emphasizes the fourth house of the horoscope, which symbolizes roots, foundation, and true security. There is no room for frivolity and empty hopes in this sphere. Taurus, known for its practicality, does not succumb to sentimentality when it comes to its well-being. Love, attraction, habit, all these may be present in his life, but if they become a source of pain, dependence and nervous exhaustion, he does not hesitate to get rid of them like a dangerous tumor. At the same time, Taurus does not arrange scenes and does not enter into meaningless clarification of relations. He just leaves, forever closing the door to the past, because in his mind clearly triggers the signal, this destroys me. Passion that brings negativity becomes unacceptable. Taurus acts not out of spite, but out of necessity. He is not fascinated by fairy tales about a possible, bright future. He relies solely on facts. If someone or something poses a threat to his mental health, financial stability, or future, this element is ruthlessly eliminated. This is the logic of the fourth house: anything that does not provide support and backing must be discarded. Jupiter, the planet of expansion, in Cancer does not manifest itself in the pursuit of external ambition, but in a deep inner motivation, to create a world of its own, with solid walls, a secure roof, a stable bank account, and a clear regime so that no one can disturb its peace and balance. It's not a matter of seeking comfort, but of controlling one's reality. Taurus no longer needs anyone to believe in him. He becomes his own faith and his own support. He is ready for solitude, but not for compromises that might break him. He does not live in a world of illusions, but is guided by a clear plan, to accumulate resources, protect his boundaries and build his future. The fifth house, responsible for pleasure and entertainment, goes to the background. Now the second and fourth houses are prioritized, resources and survival. The burdens of passions that dominate existence must be discarded. While others wallow in the abyss of dramatic conflicts, Taurus, without ostentatious bravado or hypocritical notions, is single-handedly building the foundation of his new life, methodically laying brick by brick. He is focused on working tirelessly and increasing his wealth, as he has no need for anyone's approval or admiration. His primary task is to ensure that he is confident in the firmness and reliability of his tomorrow. Taurus no longer intends to play the role of savior for others. His concern extends solely to his own person and those who are dear to him, because he realized the immutable truth: no one but himself will not take this responsibility. And if on the road to creation he has to pass through the crucible of loneliness, he will accept this challenge with calmness and silent persistence, bringing the beginning to a victorious end. On June 15, when Mars and Uranus square each other, Taurus commits an act that shocks everyone around him, but he remains silent. This explosive aspect manifests itself in the confrontation between Mars, in the fiery and theatrical sign of Leo, and Uranus, hidden in the bowels of Taurus like a dormant volcano. Their collision is not a colorful fireworks display, but a crushing earthquake that hits without warning, without announcement, and without explanation. Taurus can stay in a routine for years, patiently endure hardships, experience doubts and languish miserable existence in the swamp, until one day Uranus awakens and does not say its unappealing basta. And then begins a rapid move, change of job, the rupture of relationships that have long lost their viability. All this happens silently, decisively, without regard for other people's opinions. The end simply comes. I'm leaving. This is the quintessence of the archetype of the square, the inner tension that has been accumulating for years, decades, and in many people, throughout their lives, and now bursting out in one swift movement. Everyone is in shock, wondering what happened and why it all happened so suddenly. But Taurus does not care about other people's gossip, because he made a step, for which long and silently prepared. The coming age of Aquarius sweeps away everything that is outmoded, and at this point Taurus ceases to be a bastion of stability for others. He becomes an unstoppable force. Mars in the constellation of Leo endows the person with an inner strength that allows him to act elegantly and effectively. Instead of empty shouting and figuring out relationships, he prefers decisive action, to pack his things, change his environment, start life with a clean slate. At the same time, he does not need approval on social media, his motivation is survival and striving for the best. Uranus in Taurus, invading the first house of the horoscope, symbolizing personality, brings awareness of the need for change. A person feels fatigue, emotional burnout, as if turned into ashes. At such times, Taurus goes into himself, disappears from the sight of others, stops answering calls and messages. Let others think what they want, for him comes a period of deep recovery, release from the past, from other people's expectations and from the burden of karma. Taurus doesn't need discussions and elaborations, he simply removes himself from whatever is weighing him down. Silence becomes his way of cleansing his aura, his style and his strength. And when he returns, he is hard to recognize. He has new goals, new routes, a new level of development, and the past is reset forever. On June 18, under the influence of Jupiter square Neptune, Taurus shuts down his senses if his dignity is threatened. Once again, he does so without too much fuss or scandal. The conflict between Cancer and Aries manifests itself in the clash of the need for love and the unwillingness to be used. Jupiter in Cancer reinforces the need for care, home comfort and warmth. However, Neptune outwardly breaks the rose-colored glasses and exposes the partner's selfish motives. Taurus finds itself in the midst of this conflict and makes a choice in favor of itself. No matter who is around, husband, friend or relative, if Taurus feels that his kindness is used for selfish purposes, the relationship will come to an end. With no scandals or dramas, he just strikes a blow. He crosses a person out of his life not out of revenge, but out of contempt. After all, Taurus is not just an earth sign, it is a symbol of the buffalo, which endures to the last, but if he is humiliated, the consequences can be devastating. In the Age of Aquarius, the feminine energy influenced by the sign of Taurus manifests itself with particular strength and clarity. The fifth house of the horoscope, responsible for feelings and self-expression, and the seventh house, symbolizing partnerships, become paramount. In case of violation of harmony in these spheres, in the presence of a man next to a woman, devoid of inner strength and confidence, there is a natural rupture of emotional connection. A woman endowed with the energy of Taurus does not seek superficial manifestations of feelings, such as tears, short-term outbursts of passion or emotional upheaval. She is looking for stability, reliability, and responsibility in a relationship, wanting to see next to her a man who can become a solid support and protection, behind which she can remain herself. For such a woman is important not empty promises, but real actions, not beautiful words, but daily support and confidence in the future. She is ready to give everything she has, her love, care, time and resources, but only to the one who proved his devotion and willingness to be there for her in any situation. Even if the whole world collapses, for her will be important only the faithfulness of the chosen one, all the rest will fall into the background. Devotion for such a woman is not just a beautiful word, it is a deep instinct that defines her nature. She protects herself, staying true to her principles and her choice. And if a man once betrays her trust, there will be no turning back. Material well-being for a Taurus woman is not just a whim, but an urgent need. The fourth house of Cancer in her horoscope activates the need for a stable and reliable base, comfortable housing, order in the house and in life, enough food, a clear schedule and financial security. Without all this, she loses her balance, becomes irritable, anxious and withdrawn. And the Age of Aquarius no longer allows her to put up with chaos and uncertainty, giving her the right to create her own fortress, perhaps even alone, but with a sense of complete security and control over her life. On June 21st, when the sun enters the sign of Cancer and the summer solstice arrives, Taurus shows itself to be a determined protector. Without further ado or hesitation, he activates his fourth house, which represents the foundation of life, home and personal territory. Taurus, based on facts, ruthlessly eliminates any threats, not out of pride or a desire to impress, but for the sake of his own survival. This zodiac sign has incredible patience, the ability to endure dirt, pressure and even rudeness for a long time. However, his patience is not limitless. If someone invades his personal space with impure intentions, Taurus begins a silent but ruthless sweep. He does not waste time on explanations or requests, but simply erases the intruder from his life forever, realizing that safety is above any ties. He believes that karma will sort itself out. On June 24th, the Sun conjuncts Jupiter in Cancer, marking the point of no return. For Taurus, this is a time of dramatic change. This conjunction activates several important areas of his life at once: the fourth house, foundation, home, foundation, the second house, finances, values, and the sixth house, work, daily life. All of this happens under the sign of Cancer, reinforcing the instinct to protect and take care of himself from anything that might weaken. In Aquarius, this conjunction of planets is both a valuable gift and a serious test. Is a person ready for a life where everything depends only on himself? Taurus feels that he has reached a boiling point. The old conditions have become unbearable, there is no security, no growth, no respect. Therefore, everything needs to change. However, Taurus does not resort to drastic steps or chaotic actions. He prefers cold-blooded restructuring, making the most of his strengths, endurance, practicality and quiet determination. While others give in to panic, Taurus silently rebuilds his life system, not seeking approval on social media, but to protect his personal space from any intrusion. The influence of Jupiter in the sign of Cancer has a powerful effect on fundamental aspects of existence such as home, a sense of stability and personal space. At the same time, the Sun highlights areas where an individual may suffer financial losses, waste energy, or be negatively influenced by toxic personalities. It is important to note that all of these processes occur without excessive emotionality, but rather in the form of rigorous internal analysis. If necessary, Taurus is ready for radical measures, up to a complete revision of the foundations of his life. This also affects the financial sphere, which undergoes a significant restructuring. Jupiter is emphasizing not random gains or risky ventures, but the real resources a person has at his disposal, his skills, assets, and potential for development. Instead of empty dreams, Taurus focuses on concrete ways to earn money, striving for complete control over the situation rather than relying on luck. In the sphere of interpersonal relations, the sixth house is activated, responsible for habits, daily rhythm of life and distribution of responsibilities. Taurus no longer intends to tolerate situations where he is deprived of comfort and the usual way of life. He will not cede his territory to those who do not contribute equally, realizing that home is his fortress where there should be no room for threats. This astrological conjunction can be the starting point for radical changes in a person's life, a change of residence, a transition to a new job where there is no depletion of resources, or a complete reorganization of the budget and daily routine. The main thing is that Taurus refuses the strategy of endure and chooses the path of calculation, calmness and protection of his interests. It is time for Taurus to realize that inaction is fraught with stagnation. June will be their moment of truth, offering them a choice: either transform their lives or be defeated by circumstances. The Age of Aquarius does not provide protection, but offers the only chance for change. Taurus is aware of the factors that hinder their development, that drain their resources and undermine their authority. The solution is obvious: you must act to gain what you want. Otherwise, stagnation will be their lot.